over 120 minutes without a goal. Just what did they do so well defensively to just prevent you guys from putting any pucks in the net?
Discipline. We only had one power play that can usually get you going. Listen, both teams checked well. Not easy to get to the front of the net. So second chances were at a premium. We're a team that's not a shoot first team anyway, so that's something we obviously will look at. I think it cost us a little last year too, in lack of production in the Dallas series. So we have to look if we have to change our mindset a little bit. But at the end of the day, they did a good job blocking some shots too. I mean, we had some looks from the slot. I thought for the most part, they had a couple of, they had a breakaway by Draisaitl where they kind of created turnover at our blue line. But in general, listen, I liked our game. I thought we competed hard physically. We wanted to win puck battles. We wanted to take care of the puck. We knew we couldn't give up any easy goals. That's going to take away some of your offensive risk part. But, it's getting inside, getting second chances. It was tough for both teams, and they got one at the end. And that's it. That's a slot battle, right? It usually comes down to who wins that. They won it in Game 4 for sure early in the game. They won it late in the game tonight.
When you look back at these 5 games, is there a defining moment where you're going to look back and say that's really where Edmonton took control of the series?
Well, Game 4, they were clearly better than us, but I don't think there was – I think Game 1, it was 2-2 with 3 minutes to go. They had a better second period. We were in the lead in the first. I would say the overtime game in Game 3, we killed that 5-minute major. We had to find a way to win that game. Game 2, right? Game 2, sorry. Anyway, we need to leave here with a split. We need to find a way to win it. We thought we'd go on the power play. It's my only beef with, the thing is there was a call there that was missed that could have given us the opportunity. But at the end of the day, we got to find a way to get the goal anyway. Doesn't matter. You just think after you kill 5, you might get your turn, but it didn't work out that way. But we needed to get the goal that game and then get it back to square and go back to Edmonton. And it's a 3 out of 5. They have home ice. You can manage that. It's what happened against Minnesota. It happens a lot throughout the league. That was the game that we needed. So we made it more difficult on ourselves. Now, we did get Game 3. Game 4, that was our opportunity to make up for the Game 2 miss, and we did not come ready as they were by far. They were, early on they were on our toes. We weren't, so we lost that opportunity. So that's where I would say Game 2 would have been, we need to find a way to win that one. I don't know if you can lose 2 games in overtime in a series, and so that's when we had to even out.
Sean and Paul.
Bruce, you just said, you liked your game tonight and a couple other games in this series. How hard is it? You've been at playoff hockey for a long time to just kind of accept that sometimes your best isn't good enough.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it was our best through the series. So that's where I'm going to walk away and say, what could I have done better to get the best out of this group? That's on me, right? So, but today the response was excellent physically. So I'm super proud of the guys, the way they came out. They were committed to playing the right way. They wanted to win. This was not being prepared. And I thought we had pockets of really good hockey. It's a good hockey team over there. Like, don't forget, there's no entitlement for we're just going to win, right? So they're a hungry team. I don't care what the standings were at the end of the year. They had, some tough stretches probably with injuries where they lost some opportunities for points. So I thought it's 2 pretty evenly matched teams. They found a way to be better than us in certain areas. So to your question, yeah, sometimes you got to walk away and say, we didn't blow it. We needed to be better in certain parts of the game. I'd said Game 2, Game 1 in the second period, and build off the first period. Game 4 to the start, put out some fires, limit the damage. Hey, you fall behind, but, it doesn't have to be 2-3-0. So I look back and say there were pockets of the game we needed to be better. Tonight, like I said, I thought as the game went on, we looked better and better, and I thought, hey, we're going to get this one tonight. We just need a break, get the first goal, but it never happened.
Hi, Bruce. Up until the very end, you mentioned that you loved your game and your compete level. Up until the end, they gave up the goal when they scrambled. Is that kind of indicative of how this series went, where it's like you do everything at the end there and, trying to get that puck out of the net?
Well, they were, I said, the slot battle, they were better than us. So that's a big part of the game, huge part of the game. It's one of our strengths, right? But I can't run from it and say, they scored outwilling us at the front of the net. We weren't able to do the same at the other end. It looked like a couple times Hurdle had one, I think Howie backdoor, like we were going to get that net front goal, but it didn't happen. I would say in overtime, like even the play leading up to them getting in the zone, we had an opportunity to transition. We didn't execute. So at our blue line, they get a chance to push back. They enter the zone with numbers. They make the play low to high and get to the net. So, that's where we needed better in the overtime. I don't think we were as clean coming through the neutral zone. And it's similar to a second period. You're chasing then. So that would be my one beef. Execution in overtime where we could have maybe got some attack opportunities and get that fortunate goal. Didn't do it.